I got fired on Monday for something I said in my sleep on Saturday night. Hello. Sleep can be dangerous, apparently. I've been a sleep talker forever. My mom thinks it's hilarious, like, "Oh my god, honey, you used to argue with imaginary people at night? It was so cute." My ex thought it was cute too, until one time in the middle of the night I told him to stop being a mailbox, you idiot. It's always been nonsense. Random words, a sentence or two, never anything that mattered. So when my company announced our annual retreat, I did not put career-ending sleep confession on my bingo card. The retreat was already annoying before it even started. We had had layoffs earlier this year, so while everyone quietly updated their resumes, the whole weekend had this forced, we're a family kind of energy. Then HR dropped a new detail. Budget cuts meant shared hotel rooms. Shared rooms for adults. They tried to spin it as team bonding and a fun throwback. Meanwhile, the Slack channel turned into a group therapy session and quiet rage. I didn't complain. I never complain. I'm the person who says totally when someone asks me to do something horrible, and then I go home and stare at the ceiling like a possessed Victorian doll. Lanyards, name tags, an agenda printed on glossy paper like it was a wedding program. Day one was the usual corporate ritual humiliation. Dinner had an open bar with drink tickets, 2 per person. The CEO did a speech about resilience while standing in front of a projector slide that literally just said resilience in huge letters. I drank my 2 glasses of wine, laughed at the right moments, and tried to make bedtime without accidentally telling anyone what I really thought about anything. Then I found out who my roommate would be for the weekend. Marissa, the HR director. Not someone from HR. The director, the person who schedules quick chats that turn into terminations, the woman who can smile while ruining your week. Marissa walked up to me in the lobby and said in her most cheerful corporate voice, "Roomie!" I smiled back like I wasn't internally screaming. Our room was standard. 2 queen beds, 1 desk, 1 sad lamp, and a bathroom door that doesn't fully close. Marissa immediately sat up at the desk with her laptop like she was going to do my performance review in real time. She asked me how I was feeling about the retreat. I said, "Good," a little too enthusiastically. She told me she was so glad we got paired and that it would be so nice to connect outside of work stuff, you know? Sure. Great. Love that. Except her friendliness didn't feel warm. It felt like an investigation. Like she was looking at me the way that people look at suspicious email attachments. We did more retreat activities, team-building games, forced mingling, the kind of socializing that makes you want to crawl under a table and live there. By the time we got back to the room Saturday night, I was exhausted in a very specific way. Not sleepy. Drained. Like I'd worn my work personality for 12 hours straight, and the mask had been stapled to my face. Marissa said she had work to finish up, and stayed at the desk typing while I did my nighttime routine and tried not to think about the fact that I was sharing air with HR. I got into bed, turned off my phone, and knocked out. I didn't realize Marissa was still awake. I didn't realize she had her phone in her hand. I didn't realize my mouth was about to set my life on fire. According to the recording, yes, recording, I started with normal sleep mumbling. Then it turned into full sentences. And then it turned into a TED Talk. 47 minutes. I've never committed to anything for 47 minutes in my life except doom scrolling. I wish I was exaggerating. It was 47 minutes and 3 seconds. Sunday morning, I woke up feeling fine, normal, employed. I said morning and sat up. Marissa was already dressed, sitting on her bed like she'd been waiting for me to reboot. Sleep well? Yeah, I was out like a light. She made a little sound and smiled in a way that felt off. Like her face remembered how to smile, but her eyes were still doing accounting. I still didn't connect it, because why would I? People don't record their roommate sleeping. That's serial killer behavior, right? Sunday was more retreat stuff. Marissa was distant, but I assumed that she was tired or busy. I drove home that evening annoyed, but relieved it was over. I went to bed, I made plans, I lived my life like a person who wasn't about to get torched by her own REM cycle. Monday morning, I walked into the office. My badge worked. I sat down, opened my laptop. At 9:12, a calendar invite popped up. Meeting. Marissa. No agenda, no notes, just the HR conference room. My stomach dropped before my brain did. I stood up so fast I hit my knee on the desk and didn't even feel it. The HR conference room is glass-walled, with a sad, oversized plant and a table that always feels too cold. Marissa was there, and my manager Greg was there too, looking like he'd swallowed a rock. I sat down and Marissa slid a folder toward me. "This is a formal meeting," she said in a calm toddler voice. My hands were cold and my face was hot. I put my phone down like that mattered. "We need to address some statements you made over the weekend. We have audio from Saturday night in the hotel room." I stared at her. Was I asleep? "I don't know." She slid her phone across the table. Voice memo. 47 minutes and 3 seconds. I sat there staring at the number like it was a death sentence. "Can you confirm this is your voice?" She pressed play, and then I heard myself. My voice, clear as day. Not muffled, not dreamy, like I was sitting upright in bed giving confession. First thing that came out of my mouth. "The CEO is such a fraud. Everyone knows. It's like Ponzi scheme energy, but with Patagonia vests." I actually slapped my hand over my mouth like that would stop the sound. Marissa paused it and looked at me. Greg looked like he wanted to dissolve into the table. "Okay, no, I was asleep. That wasn't me." Marissa hit play again. "I take all the good pens. All of them. My drawer is full of good pens." I made this tiny strangled noise because I do take pens. Doesn't everybody take pens? Everyone takes pens. But hearing it said aloud, like some kind of villain monologue, that was horrifying. Then my voice said a coworker's name, a real coworker, someone I sit close to, and Sleep Me proceeded to describe her in a way that made my skin crawl. Explicit. Inappropriate. Not flirty, not even complimentary, just gross. My stomach turned. I felt sweat break out under my arms, and I couldn't look up. Marissa paused it again. "We received a complaint." "Of course we did." I whispered, "I was asleep." Marissa's face didn't change. "These statements reflect your true feelings." "That's insane." My voice sounded small. She pressed play again. "My LinkedIn is open. I'm waiting for offers. And this job is a dead end." I squeezed my eyes shut. I could feel my heart beating in my teeth. And then the final insult, because apparently my subconscious hates me personally. "And Greg smells like failure and old cheese." Greg flinched then, like I'd punched him. I looked at him, horrified. I don't think that." He didn't say anything. He just stared at the folder like it contained instructions on how to leave planet Earth. Marissa slid a termination document across the table. "For cause," it said on the front. "Conduct unbecoming. Hostile workplace creation. A line about misappropriation of company property," which apparently meant stealing pens. I let out one sharp laugh. "You're firing me for dreams? We're terminating you for recorded statements." "I was asleep," I repeated. Like if I said it enough times, it would become illegal to fire me. Marissa stayed calm. "Your coworkers reported your statements as harassment. The company has to act." Greg finally spoke then, quiet and miserable. "I'm sorry." That was it. That was my career. 30 minutes in a glass room with a plant that looked like it wanted to die too. And Greg. He did smell like cheese. I signed the papers because I didn't know what else to do. My signature looked like it was written on a roller coaster. And then they walked me back to my desk. People pretended not to notice, but they watched. I grabbed my backpack, my water bottle, my tiny desk lamp, and left. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel for an embarrassingly long amount of time, trying to figure out how reality got this stupid. That afternoon, I called a lawyer because my brain needed an adult. He listened and asked for my employee handbook. His opinion of the situation was that it's gray. At-will employment. Vague policies, a complaint on record, conduct language that can mean whatever they want it to mean. He said, "You might have a case, but it'll be expensive. And the recording certainly doesn't help you, even if it shouldn't exist." I asked him if recording someone sleeping was illegal. He said that it depended on the state and the expectation of privacy, and then he asked if I had thousands of dollars to burn on principle. I do not. So I didn't fight it. For the first few days, I kept replaying the audio in my head like my brain was punishing me over and over again. Hearing my own voice say those things was worse than hearing someone else say them. I felt like I was being possessed by a version of myself that I hated. And the part I hate admitting is this. It wasn't entirely false. I've had moments where I thought the CEO was full of it. Not loudly, not seriously, just flashes of, why are we clapping for this man for saying nothing? I've taken pens, because office pens are basically communal at this point. I've had intrusive thoughts, the kind that pop up and then you immediately feel gross and guilty. That's the normal human brain. That's normal human brain garbage. You don't broadcast it, though. My coworker texted me later that week, the kind who thrives on workplace drama, and told me that Marissa requested to room with me. specifically requested it. It wasn't random. It wasn't a spreadsheet. She asked for me. Why? 2 months earlier, at happy hour, I told a dumb story about being a sleep talker. I thought it made me sound funny and harmless. Marissa laughed, asked a few questions, and filed it away in whatever vault HR people keep their little secrets in. And then the final piece clicked for me. Last summer, Marissa's nephew applied for a marketing internship. I was on the interview panel. He was painfully unqualified and acted like the job was already his just because his aunt worked here. I said no, so he didn't get the internship. And Marissa, she never forgot. It's been a few weeks. I'm unemployed, I'm applying to jobs, I'm trying to explain termination for cause without it sounding like I set the building on fire. And now I warn people I'm a sleep talker the way that someone warns you that they have a peanut allergy. And if you take anything away from this, let it be this. Don't share hotel rooms with coworkers, especially not HR. And if you have even a tiny chance of running your mouth in your sleep, just pay for your own room. So, what do you think? Was it a setup? Let me know in the comments below, and if you have a story for us to share on the channel, send it to the email in the video description. Thanks for watching to the end. Bye for now.